Hey, this is Adi Stale from the Adi Stale Junior Show. About to drop the first episode. Went a little bit longer, but I'm still learning, still growing. A few technical difficulties. Fell off a little bit, but I'm excited to drop it anyways. I'm excited to grow and learn. It's just part of the experience, just being a little transparent. Just wanted to show the experience of what I'll be doing. I'll be making mistakes, but I'm going to keep on going. That's part of life. I hope you get some inspiration. I hope this shines some light. Friday, 7 o'clock, every Friday. All right. Stay tuned. Disclosure. I want to inform all before partaking any of this show's content that it's going to be real, loving, upfront, touching, and understanding, and hopefully inspiring. God willing, led by the big man. So don't take any of it the wrong way because it's just my thoughts and my experience that I've gone through my journey. If any complaints, I'll send it to the big guy. So other than that, stay blessed and enjoy. All right. Well, this is the Ida Stale Junior Show. Welcome all. This is the first episode. I had the intro done last week. I've been working on this one for many years, but I'm actually finally doing it. This journey that came upon. Um, I'll talk about that here in a second. But I would love to have one day, a little music. Hopefully, my kinfolk will get that. That'd be sweet, and then have a nice little logo with my hopefully my business and my foundation that I'm going to be building with with you guys, with him. So let's go. I'm excited. Let's get this shining. So what this is, well, first of all, sponsors brought to you by, of course, like I mentioned, our good Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this. Bless this show and bless many more and bless all those who's watching and listening and pass it on and shine it on and let all those shine that need it from anywhere from, like I mentioned, from a little flashlight, LED little flashlight that's on your keychain to the whole Batman signal light. You know what I'm saying? Some of us need those. And so let that blossom into what you want it to be. Amen. All right, and then brought to you by Hope I Helped LLC and Productions. I'm gonna get that going, and then our intro. I'm gonna do this by the whole five W's and the H, which if some of you guys don't know that, the what, the why, the who, the where, the when, and the how. All right, let's go. The what? It's gonna be the Adi Stale Junior Show. It's pretty much, man. It's what I am throughout the day. My wife just made a whole joke about it, saying what a character, and I'm always so it's always it's always something, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a show that's gonna have the podcast. It's gonna be having comedy skits, critiquing from food to music to all the stuff that I love. I'm a pretty diverse guy, and I'll just explain that here in a little bit. Who the part, but the what, it's going to be just a hopefully inspiring to all. But it's going to be inspiring to myself too. It's going to keep myself accountable, man. I am. I'll talk about but the what is part of that. I'm going to inspire myself. It's going to keep myself accountable. And so I want to inspire all by inspiring myself with his. I believe that he gives us a journey and a reason, and I feel and I know that everybody has that, and so I finally am fulfilling mine. I've always felt like I was fulfilling mine, but I wasn't. I was doing what I thought my version was, and now that with one of my projects that I'm going to be doing later on, it was a book that cleared out my vision. It was kind of like when you get your glasses, yeah, it was kind of like that. And it kind of made me do what I was able to do. So, and I prayed about it, and I was like, Lord, if it's meant to be, and it was. The lights are blessed by my son, and I'll be buying those, God willing. And so this camera was a refurbished one, but it's an Apple, and thank God on that. And so the stands were really ridiculous deals. I'm getting help with my brothers and from all different angles, all kinds of brothers. And so I am a blessed guy to get this going, and so why not? So cheers to that, right? So that's pretty much the what. It's like I mentioned, it's going to be a whole bunch of a diverse variety show, but the main thing is going to be the podcast. So I will talk about that when and where kind of situation. Next, why? Like I kind of mentioned in the what, it it hit me. I've always felt like I was doing God's work by talking about Him and inspiring Him. And don't get me wrong, I am no angel. I've made my mistakes, and I've done my sinful things. To be real, I'll talk about that in the who part. That's going to be a good chunk because I'm gonna be open. I'm gonna be vulnerable, man. How can I talk to you guys, and how can I not relate to you guys if I don't spill the beans, as they say? You know what I'm saying? And give my testimony on who I am. I feel like that's a good way to start it off, as in like, man, if I'm gonna be I felt like I've always been a born leader. So if I'm going to lead anything or everyone or anyone, I'm going to be real with them, saying, man, I made mistakes too, man. I've done this, I've done that. So that's part of the why. I feel like this is what I need to do to, to say those that I have not talked to, man, because I moved around so much, and I have not, some of the times I'm sorry if I have lost connection, with you or whatever. This might be a cool way, just. But other than that, man, I just want to give myself to you guys as an inspiration to. It's gonna be okay, man. I've had dark days too, didn't I? And I'll talk about that too. But it's that's part of the why. It's gonna be the accountability that I'm gonna do myself. I'm gonna be doing exercise and work videos and testimonies and daily devotions and reading the Bible and whatnot, and getting stuff built inside of me that I've always felt I was doing, but I was cheating, doing it my way, lying to myself. Um, so that is pretty much the why. I feel like it was a calling. It was part of it is my calling. And so that is the why. He told me. I was reading this book, and like I said, like I mentioned, I asked hey Lord, if you want me to do it, make it happen. And sure enough, he made it happen. And so this is why I am fulfilling my purpose. Um, the who. You know what? Let me do the where and the why, and then the when real quick. Um, and the how I've already pretty much explain it between the what and the why, but the where is going to be. I'm here in my home, thank God, in Marysville, Washington. Maybe, and so I'm from Texas and whatnot, and that's part of the who, of course. But um, here on YouTube, that's going to be the main channel. I'm going to be doing shorts, of course, between Instagram. What else? TikTok. I'm new to this, of course. Facebook. All the social platforms. I'm gonna pretty much be out there. I'm not gonna say no to anything, man. Pretty much. I'm gonna try to be as diverse as possible, so that way I could be inspiring to as much as people. That's what I want to do. I really want to, tell them, and what I mean by that is, I'll explain a little bit about who I am, about the spiritual part, but I just want you to gain foundation. Gain foundation so you can build yourself up. Okay, because it starts within. And so the where, it's YouTube 7 o'clock. That's when the win. Fridays 7 o'clock. Um, Other than that, let's go break down to the who I am. The why, and then the reason why I'm doing this. That's a big part of who I am. I came from two families, two parents that were coming into a household that is very strict and but structured. Um, and so, and both of them, my mother was the second oldest. And so, yeah, you see that this is in and out. I'll talk about that who later, but hey, be proud, cuz. my wife likes it, and I'm rocking it. So, uh, along with this grill, but um, I'm just being real. And so my mama, you know, what I'm saying, I love her, man. It's my, oof, that's my queen. And so, of course, before my life, of course, but you know what I'm saying. You know, guys know what I'm saying. But she's second oldest, um, between six siblings. You know, we lost four. They're up there. They're not lost. They're here. You know what I'm saying? I feel them. Yeah, I know. And so second oldest, and so strict family. You know, and my grandfather, I lost him too. But man, he's one of my father figures. God bless. And so she came from them. Had me when I was I think 20. Yep. And so my dad, one of the second, third oldest, third oldest. And so he came from a strict family as well, working and whatnot, but structured and fun and don't, you know, and when I mean strict, I don't mean like, you know, uh, mean and evil, you know what I'm saying? Not perfect, but shoot, trust me, ain't no family perfect. And I've been around a lot. But man, both of them came at they kind of, you know, wanted to leave at the house and wanted to be grown, you know, as they say, you know. And so they did so. And yes, they rushed it, I guess, you know, being young and whatnot, but it's all meant to be as what they, you know, as what the whole, it's what everybody says, right? Because, I mean, shit, excuse my French, but I feel so. I'm here, and I know I'm belong here for something, and I truly do that. And I've had my journey that I felt like I don't because of I'm flesh, but now that I don't really, I really do with this book, man. I'm telling you, this third episode with this project, ooh wee, it's gonna be hopefully God willing ready and firing by that time because it's gonna be needed because it is a book for everyone. Excuse me, sorry. It's an onion. It sure is. It's an onion book. But no, who I am. So like I said, um, so yeah, my mother had me when I was when she was 20. When I was born, this explains quite a bit. I feel. Um, I apparently did not want to come out. I was supposed to be due December 19th, I believe. My mom said I was in there for a little bit longer. January, the weekend before the 14th, which was on a Monday, she says came around was like the Friday. She said doctor said come on in. We're gonna induce and whatnot. And so they tried, and then something happened. I believe I swallowed some fluid, and then my heart rate was going down, and so they had to do an emergency C-section. They delivered me, thank God. And so that night, they actually had to take me straight to the NICU, I believe. And my mom said she wasn't even able to hold me, you know, and so it was that, you know, critical. And so, but the doctor said it was 50%, 50% that I would have made it that night. And I'm having a side thought because I little thing about me, man. I do this little laugh, like you heard it, saw earlier, and it's just I guess a tick, as they say, or whatever. And I try to control it, but there's times where it just happens. And so my wife, the 10 years, there's times where she thinks I'm, being a smartass just because I'm laughing, and I'm like, she goes, okay, she understands. I'm like, okay, it's one of those moments, kind of a deal. I'm not being a smartass. Don't get me wrong, I could be a smartass, but I'm working, right? And so, but yeah, no, I almost 50% didn't make it. My mom, of course, was praying and whatnot. Everybody threw prayers, and thank God I did make it. Of course, because I'm here for something. I truly do believe. Amen. But no, I felt like part of that though. When I didn't know that until my later years, and after my later years, I went to college, and a lot of, when I finding out about myself, and finding myself, and loving myself, and all that glorious feeling one gets for just feeling ownership of oneself. um you get to connect to things that you explain the who, where, why, when, and kind of why you are, from the DNA to your norms to what you grew up to, your generation to your family to this, your friends, and your journey and whatnot. All that makes you who you are. So I feel that that's kind of why I'm here. And so I'm off a little track, but no, I'll be getting back. My what did I say? I wanted to make it. Oh yeah, so my whole point was that the uh, the lack of me, my mother's connection right there instantly coming from her, from her body. I feel like it kind of made me deal with a lot of issues that I was dealing with growing up. How I am always joking in life, or just just overall who I am. And so all those questions I had, I felt like one of those things were answered when I found that out about myself. So you guys find out about how you were born and how that came upon and where you're from, because part of the why and the what, I feel that that is the reason why I think that I'm doing this, is to try to let you guys know, man, how to fix yourself. Because he wants you to, because he's within you. He wants the best of you. So, um, but no, parents had me, made it. Ta-da. Um, I also had an inner tube thing that early in life I had a speech impediment, but one of those things that no journey, and so it was all good. I wasn't sad, of course. Sometimes I had moments that people made fun, but I never really cried about it. Don't get me wrong, I was a crier, but I wasn't. I was a crier because I instead of getting mad and punching a wall, I'll cry, or just that's all I would do. So a chillon, as they say. And so, but no, man, even at a young age, I've felt the presence of God, because remember growing up, my mom would, so before that, I'm sorry, 2 years old, parents divorced. Okay. And so I got introduced to my stepdad at a young, early age, 3 or 4 years old. And so my brother came around after that. Love you, bro. And so I got a stepdad, and then my dad kind of became the postcard dad. You know what I'm saying? The He took off. He did his own journey. Uh, the reason why they're separated, it's whatever. But between them, they both had some experiences with their lives. But he had his journey. He was finding himself, and my mom was there for me, and it still is. You know what I'm saying? And so I am blessed for my journey in life, because it allows me to do this, give you this contrast that I've been there before, man. I've had those moments. I cried. I wished. I questioned. You know what I'm saying? Those nights that But when they were together, they weren't good, man. And that's what happens in life. But that's it is what it is. But you learn from it. You get the goods, the bads, and you just live on. That's what I'm just trying to let you guys know. Let's do so. If you have a problem, talk about it. Write about it. That's how I feel that people get that it, taken care of. This is what I'm doing. I feel like I'm doing my part. Um, so back to me. Who? So yeah, grew up like that. But like I said, at a young age, my mother said that going to Mexico, I used to, pretty much almost cry and try to get everybody who came across chicle, chicle, and trying to get those hookups running. And I used to notice, man, they're running with, no shoes, and I was, damn. And I used to tell my mom, be like, hey, can we do something? And, we're pretty much borderline broke too. That's why we're in Mexico shopping shit. And so, yeah, I we grew up. I grew up in Texas. I was born in the Valley. I really miss that place, other than the heat. We just visited last year. Beautiful, getting bigger. It's awesome. Grandma, my family, ate a lot of our brothers, uncles, my aunts, my brother, all of them out there. Love you guys, Texas. Shout out. And then so born there in the Valley, Harlingen. I would have been a Cardinals. Yeah. And so I got families that Garces, and I got families that Herreras, and I got families that Torrinos because I was raised by my stepdad, who was an awesome man for those years. Definitely not a perfect, stepdad, but hey, man, like I said, we're all living and learning. I took the goods and the bads. I appreciate what I got. Thank you, Lord. And so I, keep on going from what I learned. Moved to with my stepdad, with my mom and my brother. We moved to Houston, H Town. Yes, sir. And that's kind of where I started falling in love with my sports. Kind of become a child. Eight, you know what I'm saying? You learn a little something, growing. My philosophy with kids is they've been here before, and so they know things. You know what I'm saying? So you have to every year be real with them more and more up front. I've always had that relationship with kids. I have a son I was blessed um, by my wife, but yeah, that's my philosophy. You have to be real with them. So um, back to my journey. I was going into Houston. We moved to Alief after. Um, no, I'm sorry. Let me back it up. We moved to off of 59 near Ocean Southwest. Yeah, and then we moved to Sugarland, and then Sugarland from Alief. Sorry, and then Alief to Richmond Road, Richmond Rosenberg. My mom got some land. Yeah, and so school wise, man, I went to some schools and we weren't even running from the laws or in the military. You know what I'm saying? Just moving, just here and there, getting places. I moved and I lived in different homes from. Again, I used to question why, but now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm blessing, man, because I've lived into a 6 bedroom house or something like that. My pops and family and stuff like that, 6, 7 or something like that, with an office, with a backyard park to shit, I lived in my car by myself, going through some stuff, duplexes, apartments. That's what I am right now. But no, I lived it all, and so we moved here and there with grades from a kindergarten to 12th grade with my my dumbass repeating 8th grade. I went to my mom and I was like, hey, 8th grade, I don't really want to do summer school, and um, this is probably one. I don't really question my mom's things, but one of the things I really kind of question was she should have told me, "Boy, go to summer school," but I didn't. She didn't question me. I had my good friend coming up, Sonman. That's another project. Hopefully, we could talk to him. And then I had Mikey who went to 8th to 9th grade, and then my girl at the time uh, was a little puppy love. She was coming up anyway, so I was making a dumb choice. I made a dumb choice. I did. I should have just gone to summer school, but I was dumb, young dumb, and so I learned. But that's all meant to be. You know what I'm saying? It's now. It wasn't young dumb. I learned. It was all meant to be. It was all way of life, the years and whatnot, the way I landed and whatnot. So I feel, of course, I didn't make the right choice, but I mean, I made a good choice, I guess. At the time, I thought it was a good choice, but it was definitely not the right choice. That's exactly the prime example of that, right? So A-Leaf, and so I went to Richmond Rosenberg, went to a different high school there, and then something happened, man. My grandma passed away. Um, that was that was my first uh, grandparent who passed away. Uh, Death was really, um, I guess, the 50% thing that I didn't make it that night. I felt like I always feel like death is so related to life. That's why I feel every day is a present, um, and like that's why today is the present, and so it is a present. So that's why I enjoy it. That's why they say enjoy it, because so that's why most of the days, man, I feel like you have to be happy, man, because it's a present. You wake up, so that's why when I wake up, I'm like, thank you, Lord, thank you. I stretch and do my little stretching, and that's going to be a little explanation of what I want to do with everybody. But I so yeah, I we went middle school. My grandma passed away. Um, I kind of met my dad for the first time, real, got to talk to him and stuff like that. It was real, when death, feelings come up, right? And so he had a crazy idea, man. He said here shortly, we're going to be opening a restaurant in Montana. Yeah, that's what I said, Montana. Where's that? And he said, I would like for you to come up there and let's get to know each other and you help me with this restaurant. And I'm like, man, well, let me think about it. And so at the time, I guess I kind of wanted to, just because it was something different. And I never got to know my dad, right? And I love my mom. There's nothing wrong with her, It's just and my brother and my stepdad. It was just at that time it was actually my mom's other marriage. So between both my parents, a little side note, and I've talked to them about this, 8 divorces, 8 divorces, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, and so I've always felt, and this is another philosophy, um, I've always felt you're with marriage, uh, with marriage, and relationship wise, uh, and the whole 8 divorces kind of led me to this. This is why I'm talking about this. Um, I feel like you're not who you are to your mid 20s, late 20s in life, right? And so um, I feel that if you are in a relationship, make sure you grow in that young age, because you're going to be growing. So grow together, but allow each other to grow, as themselves, and respect each other. Because at a young age, I was always blessed with I felt like a kinder soul, and being an older school kind of deal, because I was always allowed to chill with family members older than me, because I knew my spot, man. I knew my space. I knew what I needed to do, which is shut up and just listen and do what I need to do. And so relationships, they are who we are, uh, and by the time you're mid 20s, late 20s, you are who you are. Like if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. If you're a funny guy, you're a funny guy. If you're if you're this, you're that. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna happen later. Don't get me wrong. That changes things. You who you are and what happens, or kind of situations. But for the most case, you are that kind of deal. Um, so make sure you grow, grow with each other. Okay, so I learned that at a young age. That's why I also had another philosophy. I'll go off of this again, and I'll go back to my journey in life before I forget these good old philosophies, because I can make these as shorts. So I heard. And so another philosophy when I was growing up is, no wife, no kid, no headache. And before you get all trippy, it's also, it could be a husband, no husband, no kid, no, uh, no headache kind of a deal. What I mean by that, man, is because, and I don't mean, like I said, a husband could be a headache, a wife could be, what I'm saying, and a dog could be a headache, and it's just responsibilities. What I'm saying, it could be a headache. And so I knew at a young age that three things, another philosophy, Junior's philosophy, or Aristotele's philosophy, whatever, that there's going to be the top three sacrifices in life. Okay, check this out. Write this down. Remember it. Okay, it's a nugget. It's going to be in no particular order. It's going to be a land or house, wife or husband, and a child. Right. Um, the reason why is because once you have any of those, you're part of something. You're not one. And read the Bible, read the book. You become with one with that. And so no more sacrifice, no more selfishness is there, and that's later in of this episodes, and I'll have words that could kill you, or could live live you up every day, or could, like I said, man, denial. That's one, but like we'll talk about that later. But no, those philosophies I explain. You want to do so because You want to give when you are ready for those three sacrifices. You know, the three: land, wife, spouse, husband, or child. The selfishness is out the window, especially once you have the all three. Uh, it is out the window. So you become yourself with them, and so you have to make sure you're ready for that, man, because it's not fair. It's not fair if you're not. It's not fair for yourself, not fair for yourself. I repeat that. It's not fair. It's not fair for the land. It's not fair. Fair for the wife or husband. It's not fair for the child, because you take something away from them, and it's a functional household. And yes, things could learn, things could change, but um, you know they need to make sure they understand that. I'm sorry. I also have ADHD, and sometimes I have where my thoughts come upon, and I'm just thinking because nobody's really looking at the camera. It's just me doing this thing. That if the microphone's on, so I'm just gonna check it real quick. And all right, I might have to edit that out, but no. But no, that's back to my philosophies. Yeah, that's pretty much another one. I'll have some throughout the moments, kind of a little message moment, and that's part of a movie, and I'll explain those later too, because that's part of the whole. It's a whole nother segment and a whole nother pillar that I'll be doing. I love movies. It's like books and stuff. It's movies, books, and music, art, dance. All those are. I've always felt connected to those, and I know why. It's just because it's God's gift, and so um, I love those, man, and not just any, all different kinds, all different kind of movies, all different kind of music, all different kind of art, and so I feel like you have to try it out and experience it before you judge it, of course. But no, I feel like that's one of my things. Back to my journey, okay. Um, Schools. I'm sorry if I'm here and there. Back to schools. I between a kindergarten to 12th grade, eighth grade, hiccup. I think I counted about what 15, 16 different schools. Elementary, I went to about four different elementaries because I moved here and there from the valley here and there, Arlington, McAllen, and then Houston and all across Southwest, and then um, middle school there as well. And then high school, I went to about three different high schools, well, four, I'm sorry, including the one I moved to. Uh, excuse me. When I went to Montana. So I moved to Montana when I was 16, like I mentioned, after my grandma passed away. Uh, Big moment in my life because I broke my mom's heart. I didn't mean to, of course, but as parents know, and as me being a parent now, yes, that would hurt me so much, and so I still apologize to my mama, but it's part of my journey, and she understands that now, and it's made me who I am, and so it's I don't have regrets, but things that happen in life sometimes have scars, but it's you heal from them, right? And so we've had some moments where she felt hurt, and then I apologize, and I hope she understands, and she does. Thank God. And so, uh, but I moved. That was a huge, huge, huge thing because I came from Houston, Southwest schools. Some schools were cool, chill. Don't get me wrong, but I went to a couple high school, well, especially one high school where we used to have. Man, let me tell you, we used to have a wear our IDs around our neck. No, if we had a mustache, we had to shave. Uh, we were sagging. We'll have to get a hanger and tie ourselves. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty interesting. And so, good hood, a leaf. And so it was interesting moving from there, going to there to Billings, Montana, talking about culture shock, right? Um, I went there, man, and it was like pulled up to to streets where it was snow to the knees, uh, pulling up to somebody on a horse, right? The school was crazy different. Where, like I mentioned, what I came from to people wearing hats in school, earrings and flip flops. I was like, what the hell? And so I was pretty amazed. But um, going into that life time of my life, excuse me, it was so uh, fun. I'm writing a chapter of it. I'm writing a book. I'm working on the title. I don't want to give too much, but it is my experience on what I was as a teenager there, man, through the restaurant business and learning and having the hookups. And I was pretty much the best example I'm going to write about already. It was just like a teenage Michael Corleone, man. Not the killing anything, of course, but the just the connection, the man, it was nice. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know if I'm using the right thing, but it was uh, the right character in these good old movies. But I just had the nice connection just because we were pretty good. What we were doing was good Mexican food, Billings, Montana, and I had a connection from restaurants to going into going to a bar or going to clubs, movies, food, hotels, dances, parties, um, you name it, and I definitely enjoyed it. And so it was a fun to the max, really was, to the point where my senior year I had my own apartment under a basement. Oh man, it was nice. 2 bedroom. It was cool. It was always had a pony keg on the bottom. Man, Billings Senior High. Let's go Bronx. I went to Skyview for a little bit in the Heights, and but no, man, I had friends in West, and that was a blessing experience, man. It was. I definitely enjoyed my high school years as much as I did in my all my middle school years. Got Mikey down in middle school. That was fun with the our friendships between us, Son and United Nation, right? And elementary, just all my fun experience times. I did. Don't get me wrong. During that journey, I didn't think it was fun. It was sometimes ups and downs. It was sad. It was moments that I was like wondering, how come I had so many schools? I only had a couple good friends throughout those years, and Mikey was one, and thank God for him because he's still, my brother now. I got friends now, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying? When you grow, like I kind of like my wife, she's been here all her life in this town. So that's pretty cool that she knows, people that she's seen, she was, as a kid, like we went to go drop our kid off, so many years back at elementary, and the all the attendants were like, oh my goodness, I remember you when you're a student. And so it's cool to hear that. But it's also cool to know people across the world. I know people in Vietnam. I know people in Ukraine. I know people all across in the U.S. And so I'm excited for what my journey unfolded, and what it is, when it's continuously to be. So I moved to Montana. Let's see, 99, graduated. Uh, 99, Y2K, kind of, so, man, I didn't know. I wasn't, um, I didn't know, so I was kind of was like, well, if anything goes down, I want to, go down with my mom and my brother grew up, right? And so I moved back to Texas, 19, I had a couple of jobs that was, decent. I've always, all my resumes always been sales or top manager or sales manager or just manager, general manager. Um, especially one of my young careers of in Hollywood video, where I was one of the youngest multi-million-dollar store runners. And that was pretty fun, ran some, did some stupid things, but it was, watching movies every day. That was my job. So that was pretty cool. Awesome. And so did that for a few years. Got into some stupid, stuff, stupid drugs. I was, doing more than, more of my greenery intake. And I was doing a little bit more of some other stuff. And I'll talk about that later, of course, to connect to others. But nothing crazy, nothing hella crazy. It's just, some pills, let's just say. And so I just, you know, didn't like the direction and whatnot. And so I got blessed with the opportunity to come to back to Washington. My dad, kind of closed the business down after I left a couple of years after that, and moved back to Washington. And at the time, he moved to this town here, Marysville, man, the Ville, right? And so he's like, hey, you want to? And I'm like, yeah, man, and no. And so I came up, and it's either work or school, and so I worked for a few years. Um, I went there. I'm actually celebrating this my 20th year here, and so a couple years into me living up here in my 20s, in my late 20s, I made another big choice and went to school. I was blessed with the whole Obama situation, so thank you, Obama. And I have another topic on that. I'll definitely talk about that on my little, my my views and my whatever you want to talk about that through spiritual and politics and all the other stuff that I don't have no problem talking about, but it's not going to be a debate thing. You know what I'm saying? I have my belief. It's not what it is. It's not this. It's not that. It's just my way of life. So you're not going to win. I'm sorry. But I hope you respect it because I'm going to respect yours. I just want you to gain foundation again, gain some light, um, you know, and so take what you want to take and then just, gain some light from it any way you can. Okay. But no, back to me. So, yeah, got to school, man, and I was able to go to Everett CC, go Trojans, up here in Everett. I started off a little rough because I did a little bit of different classes here and there, and I kind of rushed things. And by the time I realized I had too much, I had too much different classes, so I had limited options. And I got my transfer degree in economics and business, and so I transferred to Western. Go Blue, go Vikings. And so WW, Western Washington University, I had one of the best 2.5 years of my life just because it was a between them and Everett, 4 years just because of where I was going every day. It was like an enlightenment because every day it was going to somewhere where it was knowledge. It was higher learning. It was somewhere where you gain experience. I went into college thinking I was going to get more money going in, and yeah, it was all about money and businesses and whatnot. And what I left is it's not about money, man. It's about what you do with it, and it was about learning, how to learn. And so I learned math uh, through. So I lived in the tutoring center first of all because um, Quit Note philosophy, true fact. I read it. I was taught this. I was in class. Einstein, look him up. Okay, millennials. I hope you guys know Einstein. He has a quote. It was what did he says? I'm sorry. Look it up, please. Uh, it took me 99 times. 99 times I was wrong. It was 100th time I was right. And if you guys don't know who Einstein is, he's one of the smartest guys ever. And if he's telling you that on a certain problem, it took him 99 times, meaning he didn't give up 99 times. And this is the smartest guy. So it's like, not like, the 40th time, I'm like, you know what? I'm smart enough where it's not working. No, he kept on going 41, 42, 50, 70, 80, 99 times. And it was the 100th time that he was right. Honestly, man, when I read that quote on that math class and that, I was, man, I wanted to drop out, dude, because I felt stupid. I realized I had somewhat learning disabilities. All right. So once I realized that, you attack them. Because if you don't attack them, you're not gonna. How are you gonna face them? How are you gonna overcome them? Right. So you face them head on, and you learn things. And so that's what I did through math class. I learned certain ways, like the Einstein ways. It is what it is in certain things. How did X get over here? Well, it just did. Okay, and for real. Same thing on all the other classes. But what I learned in college is you can't learn math like you learn English. You can't learn English like you learn science. You can't learn science like you learn golf. And yes, I did take golf, man, and that was a badass class. Sorry, excuse me. But I also took nutrition and physical health, and that are key things that I have to this day. I tell people, my uncles, my aunts, my friends, stretch. Okay, everybody, check this out. Stretch and drink water. All right. My family knows when my wife has any kind of headache. Yes, I drank so much water, da da da, because she knows my first question is, have you drank water? And then it comes to water, stretch, your diet, and then your sleep. But that's those are future episodes that I'm excited to go through and explain, because I look forward to enlighten this. I feel like um, where am I at? Sorry if I get lost, because I have this written down, but I like I said, it's, squirrel. Like I hear my wife partaking in some stuff that's gonna and so I been here. Let's see, went to school, Western. Fun, exciting, blessing. It was, man, knowledge. I am, God willing, going to go back to get my master's, and then honestly, one day I want to get my doctorate. My goal is by the time I'm 50, so I'll be 45 this January. So I got about 5 years, and I just want to get my doctorate in something, just so I could be, Dr. Herrera. It's just a goal of my life. I believe we have to have goals in life, so that way we can, be successful. So that way we can be better than we were yesterday, be better than we were last month, be better than we were last year, last decade. And I feel one must grow in mind, body, and soul. But to do so, it's to here I go. But to do so, it starts within, and believing in Him and having a foundation and growing. And when you do that, there's ways to do so. There's pillars. There's books. There's movies. There's conversations. There's ways. You don't just. I tell my son, with the good traits that you get from your parents, sharpen up, man. Sharpen them up, like like Batman does with the whole tool belt, right? Sharpen them up. And with the bad traits, especially if you see them, just like I said, the things that you don't, you're not good at, or attack them head on. Oh man, I joke too much. That's me, man. I joked a lot too much, and I still do, but I have settled down a lot, and I challenge them. And then those are some things that, okay, I am a joker and stuff like that, so it's okay too. But there's also appropriate places, and so those are the moments that you have to control. And I have tried to do so, and I've done better. But of course, being flesh, you still have moments, and so. But that's my part of my journey that I'm here to explain, that it's going to be, hey, it's okay. You have slip ups. Don't fall back. Don't go in that rabbit hole. Don't fall, because trust me, I've done so. And it's just kind of like, being an alcohol or AA, I'm sorry, AA member or something like that, where it's one day at a time, one moment at a time, and so you have to do so in life as well. Even if you are trying to just have a normal life, but understand there ain't no normal things, everybody has their own track in life. And with those tracks, everybody has their own time too. Your same track is not the same track that it was a year ago. So don't, make sure you time yourself properly. And these are all tidbits that I've, talking about on who I am. And that's just who I am. I talk about, and I could say this to somebody, a stranger who I sat down, who I feel like just needs it, to my nephew who comes over and comes over, and rather than other choices that he makes. And I tell him it's all about choices. Everybody has a choice. I've mentioned before, I've seen parents that are awesome parents, and they are, pastors and so on, and their kid is done some stupid things, and done, and they're in jail, or some drugs, or done stupid things too. And I've seen parents that are, those done those stupid things, and you've seen the kid become doctors and lawyers, and overcome those. So it's all about choices in life. And it starts with him, giving those and listening to what he says, because we all hear that voices as in, like, don't do that, go over here, do this job, even though it pays less, but it's going to touch more, kind of deal, touch more people, of course, in a good way. And so that's who I've always felt like, in life, that I've always told people, but I didn't tell people. mm, I did it more for me instead of for him. And so, and I thought I was doing, and I was doing some good. But one of these books, the books that I'm going to introduce, the project one, which is Uh, I'm working on the name, but I believe it's 100 Project Purposes. But it is this. I believe it's from part where Jesus is walking towards, carrying the cross towards, getting crucified for our sins. And Peter is telling him kind of like, hey, we're going to fight for you. We're going to try to get you out. And he's doing all good things, right? What a homie is supposed to do, well. But Jesus knew his journey, right? God already told him you're going to die for the sins, and so and so he already knew. And so Peter was doing all good, but he wasn't doing the right thing, as in supporting him in his decision and in his calling. When I read that part, I looked upon me and I'm like, I told myself, man, I was like, there's a lot of my moments I thought I was doing, all good, and then I did good. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't doing the right thing, which is giving it all to him, letting him and giving him all credit and glory, um, and be more transparent with him, about him. And I've been growing, and I will continuously to grow. This is going to help me grow. You guys are going to help me grow. I hope you guys are going to grow. I truly do. I hope it starts here, in this house. His hopes, Lord is going to help in this town, and in the state, and then in the Pacific Northwest. Then connect over here because I got family there, and I got family there, and friends here, and let us grow. Let this light shine because we need this. We truly need this. Where it needs to happen. Where the fact that we and we're I'm gonna have and I'm ready for people who's gonna question my philosophy. I am not here to be a pastor. I'm not no prophet. I'm not no I won't be a false prophet. I am just who I am. But I'm gonna let you know that I could watch a movie. I'm gonna listen to this music, and I'm gonna take ownership from it. Okay, meaning I'm not gonna listen to this song because I want to be a pimp or use this drug or shoot, like AK. I'm gonna listen to this song because when I was 12 years old, I thought it was cool. Listen, buying my own CD, my first CD, and was living the life kind of a teenager. So that kind of things like that, where it reminds me of here, where it gives me a motivation to jump and run around and get exercise. And also don't get me wrong, I have my playlist of the Lord, of his cleansing music, and I listen to everything. It's all about taking ownership, and I thank God for this and I thank God for that. I watch a movie, and it's not a godly movie, but I learn from these movies, I learn from this music, I learn from the art, I learn from this, and that is taking ownership from it, and that is my belief. Now take it, run with it, fight, argue. Like I said earlier in the disclosure, no matter what you say, man, I'll bring it up to him and ask for forgiveness. And I hope, like I said, no offense, but that's just that's just who I am and what I do and what I believe. And so another thing that I get into is who I am. So okay, uh, I also am a guy that with my spirit, I was born Catholic. I had the whole Holy Communion, the daily bread, and I could go to Catholic. I feel proud to go take the bread and drink his wine still. And then I, was raised in Christianity too in my teenage years, and but talking to him and learning that who I am and what my beliefs are is, and what I feel that religion is what I feel what's wrong with our society and our world, that there's too much division. And so that religion stuff, to me, I feel is man-made. And so my relationship to the Lord and to Jesus as our messenger, that is not no religion. That is a way of life. That is my life. That is so uh, how I learn and where I learn. He provides the learnings of different from anything from a pastor to from a 10-year-old kid learning. Hopefully I'm going to learn something from my basketball team that's coming up. That'll be coaching. So I'm down to learn from anybody because I feel like he provides learnings through everything. Even from a dog or a plant that grew through something. Um, Life is a lesson learned. I feel everybody tries to pursue the happiness, but the pursuit itself is the happiness. Now there's going to be sadness, but just like I feel in weather, how are you going to enjoy the sunshine if you don't have the rain? How are you going to enjoy the true happiness if you don't have those sad moments? It's just all contrast, and that's why I feel my journey is for you guys. So okay, school. Been out of I graduated in 2012. Um, I'm just rubbing my thighs. Trust me, nothing disgusting. Not scratching. I took a shower. I made myself all fresh and so clean for this, just because I made myself think about this. I'll give it all. Definitely, I've heard it before, and then give it a little prime time. Made it a little bit better with what he, made it at the end, but that's not my true thing. Is what he feels like, and it's you feel good, you look good, right? You shower, you shave, you look good. You do. That's why a haircut is so important, right? When you get that haircut, that feeling after a haircut, it's just another feeling, right? Well, same thing in the shower and then suit and then this and that and that. And man, I'm not saying go get the most expensive, but man, I've seen Goodwill, man. I've seen Value Village. I've bought some stuff. You can get some good stuff for good deals, man. Even though donation centers too. You just got to go find it. You got to go do that work. You got to meet halfway. And so you look good, you feel good. Okay, you feel good. Oh yeah, I can do anything. Haircut. Ooh, so fresh. I'm gonna, talk to this girl that I haven't talked to. I'm gonna go get this job that I need to go get. I'm gonna go, better walk, better, be better inspiration or whatever. Um, you feel good. You feel good. Uh, you play good. Okay, and this was came from sport. And meaning work. You play good, or you successful. You know what I'm saying? You do something. You accomplish your goals, your steps, your everything. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, what Dion says, if you play good, you get paid good, right? And it's true, and it's true to a fact. To look at him, he's a great hardworking coach, or he was a great working player. He's a great working dad, but he's a great working man. And so, like many others who do so and work hard and be prideful, but be respectful and understanding, but bleed and give for what it's out there before you give what's yours. I feel that is huge in life. So I want to inspire that, truly. Um, where am I at? All right. So inspiration, school, got done school work. Found jobs here and there. I then here it comes, guys. Um, Before I get into that next part, I'm gonna introduce my full name. It's again, it is Steel, and I'm putting this because this is I go by Junior here at my house. And so my name is Steel Herrera Jr. I grew up going by Eddie because my dad didn't really know what my name went. He said it was from a great uncle or something like that. I grew up thinking, and I use this as some skit comedy that I want to do, touch up some more that I did when I was in college, some stand up comedy as well. That my so I grew up with my first name Aristeo, right? Okay, and like I said, I went by Eddie, and I thought it was deep rooted, from Mexico kind of deal, right? And so I just was embarrassed. I didn't know what it meant, and I just, didn't know what it's from. I didn't know anything, so I was embarrassed. I never went by it. I went by Eddie. I was little Eddie. My dad went by it, so why go by anything else, right? And so when I used to be younger. So I don't want to ruin that part. So that was part of the joke part. And so I sophomore year of college, I find out what it means. I'm reading Greek mythology studies, right? And it was under a subname of Aristotle, which is I don't know if you guys know, it's a great philosopher. And I realized my name was there, and I'm realizing it. My name was Greek, and I'm like, oh snap, shoot, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. and I find out what it means. And and I'm laughing because, like I mentioned, when I was a kid, man, I used to chop it up, and I use this as a perfect location was our students' color of conference. It was nothing but Hispanics, Mexicans, Asians, natives, Russians, you name it, Ukrainians and Africans, all kinds. And so this joke worked real because I'm like, hey man, you guys probably related to this. How many times you guys' names got chopped up? My name being Aristerio, they were like, uh, this is Aristerio, and I'd be like, just call me Eddie. And so I say now that I wish I would have known at a young age what my name meant because, like I was gonna say, my name Aristerio means the great one. And so, yeah, I would have just said, "Man, just call me the Great One," and if I would have known what my name meant, but hey, I didn't. But to top it off, that's why I guess my life has been such a whirlwind sometimes, where I'm also a junior. And so, as some of you guys know, most of you guys know, should know, junior means second, so and so. So, I asked my parents jokingly, so is that why my life's been kind of interesting? Because, I'm the great one, but, the second coming. But yeah, that joke kind of hit a little bit better and hope some of you guys got some laughs and some likes and shares. But if not, oh well. I'm not no professional. You are not getting any guaranteed laughs here. Hopefully you do though. And so, but no, a little cheesiness there. So yeah, Aristeo means a great one. I didn't know that until my sophomore year of college, but I go by that now, man. I'm proud of it. Aristeo. I go by Eddie as well. Definitely go by Junior here. And so, as I said, jokingly as here and there, I've gone by many names, and so, but I'm true as one, as the son of him. And so, uh, I thank I think for all my names, thank you for all my journeys. Um, Thank you for all my history because it makes you feel who I am and what I'm able to bring to the table, which is like I said, a lot of contrast for everyone to connect to enjoy, man. From anything from like a little bit about me, man. My journey when I was 13, I made a stupid decision for I don't know what reason, but I wanted to choke myself, right? So I did, and I knocked myself out and unconscious. And glory to God, He brought me back, and I was looking at a freaking black and white screen, and I was, crying, tripping, making stupid, like why, making. So felt His presence then, and to this day where I have my moments still. Be real. You know what I'm saying? I told my wife, and she kind of like, what? And where to the point where, and this is me being vulnerable to you guys, man, where I'm driving down the freeway and you look at the pole and say, what if kind of a deal. And I'm not saying I'll do it. Hell no. I would never do it. I promise you guys. I would never, ever do that. But it has those thoughts, and I don't, and I don't know why it comes from, and I've questioned God, and it's kind of to me, it's like those moments that have you understanding that the devil sometimes is lurks there, man, and sometimes when you're that strong relationship, it sometimes happen, and so I understand that it's all part of it, and that I know I ain't gonna worry about it because, like I told my wife, I am more smiles than frowns, anyways, anytime of the day that you catch me when I wake up to when I go to sleep. It's because I know today is a present, and I've like I've said, I felt that I think, when at a young age, that death was so close that I'm okay with it. And I am. I've had my journey, and part of who I am, which is being a type 2 diabetic, because of those stupid denials, like I mentioned, those words and the pride. I was in my 20s. I was up to almost 300 pounds. Later on, I'll show you a picture. I'm looking like a big bulldog. Ooh. And I told my wife, man, if we were together at because apparently she was a little bigger girl. If we were together back then, man, I don't know if we would have made it because we'd be fighting for the last piece of cookie or chicken, right? And she's like, "You're stupid." But I'll tell this little story about my wife about um, and so, um, but no. that is pretty much about who I am. Um, God, where was I going? Sorry, I might have these moments here and there, but I'll get back on track. I promise. So moments. All right. School, work. My name. All right. Aristeo Junior. All right. All right. So next, I want to go into, um, and I'll go back on the videos if I forgot anything. But the next part I want to go into is my next chapter after school and whatnot. It was meeting my wife, my angel, my lightning in a bottle. Um, oh yeah, I was of course talking those moments, uh, but no, man, trust me. Like I said, it, it, I know everybody has those moments, and those are the moments that I was talking about. Those dark moments that everybody has. But he is the light that you drive and you see that post and you're like, man, I got out. You know what I'm saying? Or shit. I was like, you know what, devil, that was a stupid ass thought. You thought you had me hat, psych, or whatever. Or give glory to God that hey, you know why I'm driving this car, or thank you for letting me drive this car, or thank you for those, whatever. But those moments are, don't get me wrong, very rare now, and it was because I was, dark in moments, and so part of life, man. Um, you're gonna get those, but you have to fight within. Like I said, it starts within. Um, let's see, marriage. Well, not yet. I met my wife. All right, this is I love this story because this is a true story because I was a hopeless romantic. All right, like I mentioned, with between my parents getting divorced, seeing family members, young age, divorce, friends, divorce, stuff like that, separation. I never, like I mentioned, I had my philosophies, um, and so I was respectful, and but when I met my wife, I was my good friend of mine introduced with his at this time his girlfriend, told me, hey man, you want to come over? And it was just after FIFA 2014. I know they weren't gonna make it, but hey, I feel like if they yeah, I felt like if they would have subbed in some younger guys at that time, maybe they had a better run. But I'll get into that sports part of my life because sports is life. But soccer is like definitely one of my last sports, and but yeah, I'll explain why later. But no, my wife, I um, I met her, right, and she changed my life because when I first met her, and I say this, I could do this with my eyes closed, I could do this or everything, where I could picture everything like a movie set. Where my buddy called me and he's like, "Hey man, you want to come to hit the river?" I was like, "Eh." I was like, "All right, why not? Sure." And I put up, and um, he was standing out there, and I saw her, right, and he was like, "Hey, dude," and it was like, "This is Alicia." And I was like, hey, and I'm seriously, it was like slow motion where the trees were going slow, the wind was going slow. I heard birds, a beautiful day, and he was all like, "You got any, smoke?" And I was like, and at the time it was before dispensaries and whatnot, and I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm out. I don't, my guy, yada yada." And not even half a second, she's in her car, right? And I swear, man, oh my goodness, thank you, Lord. She smiles with her beautiful smile, and once you guys get to see her and know her, some of you guys do, you guys know what I'm talking about. That smile. She lifts her glasses up, puts over her head, and she goes, "Ah, you suck." And I swear, man, it was like a lightning in a bottle. It was Cupid hitting me, man. It was birds chirping. It was all that things that songs are written about or sang about, poems are written about, books that are, movies that are made, shows, all that stuff that it was talked about, that slow motion. It hit. It was it. For some reason, I knew myself. I was in trouble. Right there and then, it's truly. I was man. And so I got out and talked, and we talked a little bit, and we went to go hit up the river, and man, everything she said, I was just soaking it in. It was a hell of a crazy conversation where it was she was wearing shorts where it was her hair is a little shiny, and she was all, oh, I don't care. I was like, man, you rock it, girl. I don't care, her hair, leg hairs or whatever. And so she's talked about her son, my boy's son, not my boy, and the way she was describing him and talking about him, that love that I felt. I knew, I know what that love was because it was my mom's. You know what I'm saying? And so I told with this woman and the way she loved, her passion and the way she is, the way she talked, her words, her spunkiness, her attitude, her smile, her blue eyes, her laugh, her goofiness, her words, her thoughts, um, everything. I truly, I tell her I fall in love with you every day just because how amazing she is. It's a truly woman that I could definitely, you could watch paint with, because she will make it interesting. And so that went on that river, man. It was crazy. It was like a movie. She was talking about her kid, and I knew in my head if I got 10% of that love, I'm good for life, man, because she is awesome, amazing, beautiful. I want to share my day with her every day. Thank you, Lord, for delivering her to this day. Don't get me wrong, she is for not even 5'2". She is definitely whoo wee. But man, I would never have it no other way. She is my yang, and I'm her, yin. And some days she's my yin, and I'm her yang. And but our centerpiece is our boy, and I appreciate it. I appreciate our boy's daddy sharing with him because I am truly blessed with this package deal that I received 10 years ago, and that's part of this whole 10 years. This was definitely, I've been talking about this, just like my book. Why not, right? And so I met my wife, man, and I was like in love, right? That on the water, I was just stuck, and she was telling me this, telling me that. She even told me, we even joked about it, and went to this day. She was like, "Well, I told you that she ran a cult. Yeah, she was a cult leader," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Let me go find out." And so I for kind of a moment, back to you guys. If you guys know some of that comedy, man, let me know who's that comedian back in the '90s. He did for and so I had that moment, man, because I was like everything, I was like, oh, cult leader, oh, okay, I want to follow that. Cool. And so and 10 years strong, man, let's keep it going. 10 years together, 3 years married, and hopefully many more, God willing, and togetherness, and we're growing together and individually, and like I said, we're learning as we go, and having the Lord be in our belt, it's a definitely truly blessing. And having our boy, he's amazing. I have a blessed relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? I've told him from the get go. I feel like, and that's the reason why I said earlier that I had a great relationship with kids, because I did that with him 10 years ago. Where, hey, man, I'm not trying to be your dad. I'm not trying to be your mom. I'm just trying to have being somebody in your life that's going to make it easier, man. Uh, uh, Please come to me and talk to me about everything, just like I'm doing here. Honestly, man, I swear. I have no birth children, and I shouldn't say all that I know of, but yeah, I don't. But I have this one. He's my blood, man. I have this beautiful. There's a beautiful song, my boy, and it's truly like that. That he's my, also my best friend too. Luke. And so I I have that relationship with him because I feel like I said, I told him at a young age, I was like, look, man, just do three things, okay? And I'll give you the world. I'll try, okay? Um, Good grades, okay, at least above C. Come on, man, that's average. You're a smart kid, and yeah, he had some, but hey, you attack him and you learn, and he's learned, man. I'm so proud of him. His senior year, and so uh, good grades. Uh, Keep your room clean. Come on, man, that's your room. How easy that is, right? And the third one, most importantly, respect mama. And I told him, you do those things, son, I will give you the world. All right, I will try to do anything and everything for you. But yes, I am a true believer in that. Uh, just checking out time. So that is my philosophy with with the children is be real with them, man. And I was with them, man. Every year I got to, respect. I told them about life, and showed them this and showed them that, and um, you know, uh, the reason why I am and where I've never did anything stupid. I've never been in jail or anything. I don't. I'm sorry. I went to jail for speeding and not paying a speeding ticket. And when I was 17, curfew with Mikey, and being passing 12 o'clock just joyriding and being passed on on Richmond Ave in H Town. But you get in trouble because you put yourself in those predicaments. It's just like in life. It's kind of like they say, you are who your friends are and stuff like that. Because to the point where you become those situations because you allow yourself to be in those predicaments. You might help them out, or might do this, or might do that. But you have to listen to him. And so many times I did it, and I am here to say I've made my mistakes, but I've also didn't make them where the point where it punished me enough where I got a record, or I not done any sins. I've lied. Don't get me wrong, it's a sin, but I have asked for forgiveness, and I will continuously to do so. And so part of that I tell my and try to install with my boy, because they're my family now, and 10 years we've been together, so it's been a blessing. Um, like I said, that day, that moment, I could picture it, and one day, I will redo it for the wife. But we've been married for 3 years. God, thank you, God. It was a beautiful wedding, beautiful. I feel there wasn't perfect, of course. They didn't allow my wife to do the full way she wanted to do, but other than that, it was a beautiful wedding. Um, Family came as much as possible. Uh, Speaking of family, my like I said, my mom's down in Texas with my brother. I got a brother there, uh, Iser. I got my stepdad, who she remarried, and she found her love, and that true love can be found many years. And they were high school. He had a big crush on her in high school, and she kind of like didn't know. And then what, 30 years later, 40 years later, or something like that. Yeah, so I believe it. Um, you know, uh, and then my dad over here, he's with when he got married to his fourth wife. They've been together for my brother's 30 some years, so 30 some years. So I got three brothers over here. I got Harv, Jay, Josh, and Aaron. Um, and so all of them are going to be helping me, from music, from T, and conversations in life, and art and design and fashion with Aaron, and also with with Aaron and Harv, and Aaron with also helping me with the production, Josh with financial and legal terms and whatnot, and legal situations. My dad is still up here, God bless. My mom is still rocking, God bless. She's I talk to her, try to talk to her every day. And so I am a blessed man with a great family. I got cousins, I got aunts, I got uncles, who I've used and I've loved, and used as in like learning tools, and examples. Like I said, people who come into your life, man, you should learn from everybody, no matter what age. That's part of what I believe in. What else on the who? Um, who I am also a part of sports. Part of this podcast, it's going to be so diverse about sports. My top three favorite sports, it's football, uh, and then the NFL, college, of course, and then no particular order, the NBA and NFL, of course, are my top three. I grew up part of who I am, sports, and this is I guess in nature. Uh, I grew up not wanting. I've been always different, like I said. So when I grew up with, especially kind of with sports, I didn't want to follow uh, soccer. One, I've always felt it was too much running and not enough scoring. And two, I didn't want to be a typical Hispanic, especially in Texas and whatnot. And that was just me, kind of a deal of I didn't want to have that complex of the darker skin, because I was actually I'll get dark in the sun real quick, man. I still got a crazy suntan from a year ago in Texas. But I just had that complex of where if it felt darker, I felt, I didn't, like myself more. But now I don't care what darkness I get or what lightness I get and whatnot. But And so I just had a lot of issues growing up, with self, complex issues, right? Um, but I didn't tell no one. I didn't talk to no one, so I lived it, whatever. I just didn't do it. I didn't change myself. I wear different clothes. I was always different though. I didn't do the Dickies. I didn't do the cholo stuff. I had polo on, and stuff like that. And so I've always, felt like I was just different. And to the point where I pride myself to, like my mom, I've always told me that I am, that you're not a Mexican, because you're not from Mexico. You are American with Mexican descent. And now I get it now, man. I know why she tells me that, and she's always put that inside of me because, she's always told me, hey, be proud of who you are. Say what's on your mind. And I've always felt like that, but now I added, say what's on your mind, but know where you stand. Because there's times where you could say, 1,000 words, and sometimes it'll be pointless. And I know this is not one of the times because I'm doing it also for myself. What I'm doing here, I'm keeping myself accountable with doing this thing here every Friday. I'm going to be doing daily devotions, and doing those weekly, daily, because I do need to read more of the Bible. Because, like I said, I am definitely not perfect, but I'm not claiming to be at all. I'm not trying to be a prophet. I'm not trying to be this. I'm just trying to help you guys understand that you're not alone. You're not, and to understand there is a light. So let me know if you need a flashlight or if you need Batman's light. I'll know if I can't help you fix the problem or give you good advice. I'll find somebody who can. Because part of my segments they're going to be that I'm going to talk about next in the next part of this intro, because this is just pretty much the who, why, where, what, who, and the who is kind of the biggest part because, like I mentioned before, man, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible because uh, I want you to understand you're not alone, and you can overcome whatever situation you're going with. And if you're not going through any situation, show some love to somebody else, man. Question yourself: Have you done enough? What are you doing enough? What can you do different to help not just yourself? If you're all the way to the peak, how else can you help others? Because I guarantee you, if you do that, you'll be even in a better feeling situation. So yeah, I might talk about who I am later on if I remember the things, but that's pretty much what I'm doing here in my life now. That leads us to here, like I mentioned. Um, I was able to bless, you know, this opportunity. I was able to be blessed in this opportunity with this, So let me break it down to the next section. The next segment will be this episode. So, what I'm going to be doing I'm going to be hopefully creating a format on my podcast where, like I mentioned, I have the disclosure, the music, and then the stuff in the intro. And then each one will have a main topic that I'm talking about. And this one, of course, will be the message that I'm trying to do here through this show, through the podcast, through the critiquing, to the sketch, the comedy, to the relationships, to the advices, to everything I do here, man. I'm just trying to honestly get good, positive vibes to you out there and just have it crossed over because we need those. It's a ugly world out there, and it's getting uglier. It's getting dumber because there's no more common sense. There's no more accountability, and so we need that. And help me pass that on because it needs to be done. And just like one of the main events coming up or that just happened, that this main topic, what I'm talking about is this episode and this journey. The next thing that I will be doing after that, after the main topics, is going to be kind of related to the major events. What happened this last week? What happened this just recently? And anything from business to the world, to art, to music, to sports, to politics. Like our last crazy. The last thing was our president election, right? Um, this is definitely going to open some things up. But like I said, this is my personal beliefs, man. You can go with it. You can, do whatever. You can respect it. You don't have to do. I don't, any complaints. Like I said, I'll bump it up to him. But my personal belief is that is another division that people want us to be divided by. Because if you look at it, the left wing and the right wing, for so many years, who does it really help? it only really truly helps them, and it really truly helps the elite. And I'm sorry, hopefully this does not get me canceled before this gets going. But so my thing is, they've always said, well, if you don't vote, then you can't be part of the discussion. And so now, the last few years, the last few, elections, I voted for myself, and I've had my wife voted for me, and so at least I could be part of the discussion. And I feel that if we are united and get a stronger vote between everybody, we could not need the left wing or the right wing as much. Um, and we can be united and be strong in that, because once we go that route, it'll be a lot easier. But hey, that's a lot of thought, a lot of ways, and that's not my calling for that. It's just about my way. When people conversation want to bring it up to me, and then if you want to do so, then I always ask, well, what have you done for then for the cause? Are you going out to the street? Are you going door to door? Are you how strong is your belief on that? If you really want to, bring that up to me, that's my personal belief. And so, and another thing is, if I had a crazy thought, it was like, man, I was talking to my stepdad. I was like, man, why don't, if anything, if we're such a world, like, we need to get together, why don't we have a president who's one, and then the vice president as the other, and then in 2 years, if it doesn't go right, or if it's going crazy the world will flop it over. Have the other one the president, the other one vice president. But hey, who knows? I just pray and give it up to him that that's all I can do. If I believe in something, then I'm going to try to work on something on that. And who knows? I'm going to start in my backyard. I'm going to try to do something locally. I'm going to try to be on some kind of board, because I feel like being vocal and doing something about it is action. And what I've learned from one of these little videos that I just watched, these prayers, it's all good, don't get me wrong, prayers on that, but a lot of people forget at the end of it, it's about action. Doing after you praying, what have you done for, you prayed for this, but what are you doing for that? You know what I'm saying? Another philosophy little thing that I love to go and listen to is uh, the saying, I need to stay on focus, my bad. So yeah, that is what just happened the last week. So that's my personal belief on that, on the politics. But like I said, we're gonna leave it up to him. Other than that, and see if we'll be good on presidency. Um, with time getting long, we will cut it on that on major events. The next one will be the next segment. What I'll talk about will be sports. Excuse me. The reason why I will bring up sports, a huge part of this, will be just because to me, sports is life. You learn about teamwork, you learn about your wins, you learn about your losses, and you learn from both. You learn so much. You learn about discipline, and so I feel sports is life, and I've always been a big fan of that, to the point where I've ended relationships, and but the way I know my wife was the one is that I've ended games because my wife wants to go do this. So, but she is a true soldier now, that she rocks my teams, and now she understands. She watches the games with me. She does picks with me. In fact, it's almost about that time to do our picks here, since we're in the sports segment. I hope she's nearby so she can hear me. If not, I will have to call her out. But I will do a little part of my sports updates here. And so I'll start with the football. Um, oh, actually, she's nearby. Babe, here shortly, you want to do our picks? All right, I'll let you know. Thank you, babe. My wife she's, like I said, my lightning in a bottle, as you guys know. She's Alicia. She is awesome. So, no, like I mentioned, I will break it down to sports. NFL, NBA, MLB, my favorite top three, of course. Golf has been one of my favorites of doing so, of playing. Um, I tell people in life, and I'm going to be doing a segment about it where, I'm talking about, uh, you know, green on greenery or something like that, where just have a conversation with people in golf and about why they, in love with the sport. And my love for golf is because golf is like life. It is so much like life, where you are having a shitty, worst day, bad day, kicking the blues, whatever, like just like a life day, like a day in life, shanking this, hitting this. But one moment, one touch of the Lord, one touch, one smile, one glory, one feeling, one something, kind of like a chip shot or a putt that goes in or holding one. It gives you that hope. It gives you that reason to come back. It gives you that moment in life. And that is why I love golf so much because it's so challenging most of the time. It's like life, you know what I'm saying? But those moments that you get one, you just need one. And that's all we need. And that's what the Lord is, you know what I'm saying? That foundation that gives you that one every day. I promise you. And I'll show you that this whole devotion thing, and how these words are so meaningful, you know. Hey, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. I had fun doing so. I had a little technical difficulties at the end, but I'm still learning, as I said. So enjoy this journey. Remember, Friday, 7 o'clock, I'll be dropping that. And then every day, daily devotions, I'm going to be trying to be doing, stay consistent on that. So, but again, thanks guys for chiming in, giving me your ear, and hope it, shines some light in your little darkness. If not, I just, want to build some foundation in you. All right. Have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed